You're listening to the Telltale channel. Don't forget to check me out on all social media: Patreon, Twitter, Teespring, and Etsy. All links can be found in the description or on my website, telltaleatheist.com. So the first article I wanted to take a look at tonight is called "Trump World Favorite Persuader Scott Adams Sees Satanic Coincidences in Biden Campaign." This is by Right Wing Watch. And they actually, they attached a Scott Adams video to this article. So I went through the video and gave it a watch. If you guys don't know who Scott Adams is, he wrote the Dilbert comics. He invented Dilbert. And I really enjoyed Dilbert when I was younger. I loved reading those comic strips. I had like books of the comics when I was little, and I'd sit there in my room and read them. So it's really disappointing to me that this guy, Scott Adams, has gone so completely over the deep end. He is a member of Mensa, and he is fucking crazy. So let's watch this clip of Scott Adams saying some really interesting stuff.
Now, here's something that's caught my attention, and I can't release on it. As you know, I'm not a believer in any kind of religious anything, but I can't help noticing how many satanic coincidences there are with the Joe Biden campaign.
All right, let's just pause right here. He's an atheist. He does not believe in God. So what is his end game here by basically trying to scare people into thinking that Joe Biden is satanic? What is his end game? He's trying to build up Joe Biden's opponent. I can't see any other explanation here. I don't know. Am I missing something? Why is an atheist talking about all of the satanic signs? Why is an atheist trying to stoke conspiracy theories? This is a conspiracy theory, straight up. Let's continue.
And they just have to be mentioned. Now, again, I'm not a believer.
We know.
But it's becoming a weird coincidence of how many things look satanic. For example, Joe Biden is in favor of what he said, bringing the light to the darkness. And what is happening as he's speaking? As he's speaking and saying, I will bring the light to the darkness, cities are actually on fire.
Okay, let me just pause here real quick, because that's not actually what Joe Biden said. This is Biden's actual quote. "The current president has cloaked America in darkness for much too long. Too much anger, too much fear, too much division. Here and now, I give you my word, if you entrust me with the presidency, I will draw on the best of us, not the worst. I will be an ally of the light, not of the darkness." That's what Joe Biden said. Either way, that's just a complete conspiracy theory. Let's just continue with the video. I'm jumping the gun on this because it's got me pissed off. Let's continue.
California is on fire. If you were Satan, wouldn't you expect that Satan would speak in terms which are true but misleading? Meaning, he will bring you the light, but there's a catch. It's fire, and it's burning your stuff. That's exactly what Satan would say if Satan existed. Now,
if Satan existed. This is ridiculous. What's wrong with this guy? There is a conspiracy theory problem in the United States right now. People are convinced that everybody is out to get them, that Satan is out to get them, that the deep state is out to get them, that all of this other junk. This guy is not helping the situation with shit like this. This guy's making it worse. He's an atheist, and he's super smart, and he's doing this shit. Really? What is wrong with him? Let's continue.
I'm not saying that Joe Biden is possessed by Satan. I'm just saying it would look exactly like this. Now,
this is wrong. This is wrong. Why would an atheist ever hint at this? This is just straight up manipulation. He knows what he's doing. He doesn't believe in God. He's trying to manipulate and scare people here. That's it.
Are there any other clues? Well, how many people or entities do you know who prefer to live underground? I can think of Satan, living in hell. And who would be another person who prefers to live underground?
I've got it. I know who. Donald Trump, when he went into his bunker, right? Didn't he go into a bunker underground? Because he was like super scared that people outside were like going to get him or something. That's who it is. I bet that's who Scott Adams is talking about here, right? Let's find out.
Could it be basement-dwelling Biden?
Basement-dwelling Biden? Isn't that the nickname that Trump made up for Biden? This is Scott Adams trying to spread Donald Trump's propaganda technique. Linking negative words to people like that so that when you hear the name, it's linked to negative thoughts. That's a propaganda technique. It's a propaganda technique that Donald Trump has been using since forever. You know, Sleepy Joe wasn't really sticking, so he went with basement-dwelling Joe Biden. Crooked Hillary. You hear words that are negative in your mind, and you link them with the name of the person that you're talking about. It's a propaganda technique that Scott Adams is intentionally helping Trump spread.
I only know two people who are famous for living underground.
What about Trump? You forgot Trump. He was underground in his bunker, wasn't he? Why is he leaving Trump out? That's the first person I thought about.
Can you think of even a third one? I don't think so. But that could be a coincidence, right? I mean, you know, there are coincidences. So if there was anything to this satanic thing, you would see lots of little hints, because don't they say that Satan, his biggest trick is telling you he doesn't exist? So he would be hiding in plain sight, but there would be lots of clues if you were not blinded by the satanic influences. For example,
there'd be lots of clues if you weren't blinded by the satanic influences. This guy is such a piece of trash. What's going through his head right now? He is an atheist. What brought him to the conclusion that this was the best thing to do for society? How did he wake up this morning and say to himself, you know what? I think we should manipulate the public and lie to them and twist situations around to make them believe this conspiracy theory so that they'll vote for the candidate that I like the most. I've said this before, but deprogramming people isn't that difficult. It's a pretty straightforward process. The Chinese did a lot of experimentation with compliance techniques and brainwashing in the 20th century. It's pretty straightforward. There's a manual you can follow to do it. The hard part is respecting people's human rights while trying to deprogram them. You can't just grab somebody, take him to a cabin in the woods and tie him to a chair and, talk them out of their beliefs. That's against the law. You can't do that. You have to respect the law and people's human rights. The ends do not justify the means. The ends justify the means mentality is what you find in cults. I left that mentality behind when I left a cult behind. I don't believe that it is okay to manipulate or lie or cheat or steal to further the goals of the greater good. I don't believe that. If you lose your morality while trying to further the goals of the greater good, then you're not furthering the goals of the greater good. And that's what this guy is doing right now. That's what Scott Adams is doing. He's using an ends justify the means mentality. Well, it's okay if I stoke fears through a conspiracy theory and make people think that the candidate that I don't like is possessed by Satan. As long as they vote for the candidate that I want, I am furthering the greater good. That's what he's doing. This is a cult mindset if I have ever seen one. I'm not saying he's in a cult. I'm not saying he's like a cult leader or any of that shit. I'm just saying that's the kind of mindset that comes with a cult. That's the extremist mindset. Ends justify the means, and it's wrong.
What is Joe Biden's slogan? Build back better. Build back better. BBB. If you were going to imagine 666 and you wanted to show it to people and disguise it at the same time, can you think of any letter that the numeral 6 would fit inside completely? Only capital B. How about the name Joe Biden? Well, there's no 666 there, right? So Joe that's 3 letters. Biden is 5, so there's no symbolism there. Except I was looking at it a little bit closer, and do you know if you took the capital letter J, just imagine the capital letter J in your mind. Now think of the next letter in Joe. It's an O. Now just move in your mind the O to the left until it's on top of the J. It's a backward 6.
He knows full well what's happening here. This is like pattern recognition stuff. This is the exact reason why everybody saw a face on Mars. Because human brains are programmed to see patterns in things when there is really, honestly, no pattern there. They zoomed in on the face on Mars like a week later after everything exploded and saw it was just a rock formation. There's nothing there. We have pattern recognition programs in our heads that are designed to find this stuff. And he knows that. He knows that. And he's using this shit to manipulate people.
Now suppose the next letter is the lowercase e. What does a lowercase e look like if you turn it upside down? Well, it looks like a 6. 6 wouldn't be anything, right? But the next letter is capital B for Biden. And capital B is where you hide your 6. What is left of the word Biden if you take out the B, because that's where the 6 is hiding? What's left of the word Biden, are you ready for this? I-D-E-N. I-D-E-N. Identity. 666. Identity. That's what Joe Biden's name actually is. 666, identity. Now you say to yourself, Scott, you could pick any complicated situation and you could find all these random patterns, and it's been proven a million times.
That's correct. You can find any situation like that and find a million patterns in any situation. He knows that, and he's saying this anyways to stoke conspiratorial fears. That is it. So he's debunking himself here, right? I'm going to assume he has an answer to this. This is another propaganda technique that Scott Adams is using right now. He is addressing an argument before his opponent can offer it. So now he's saying, well, you're going to say, Scott, you can find this in any complicated situation. Now, how is his opponent, who's criticizing him, going to come out and say that? Because he's addressing it right now, right? That is a propaganda technique. Say it before your opponent can. That's why Donald Trump accuses people of things that he is doing. Because it would be absurd for somebody to come back and say, no, you. Like, for example, Donald Trump came out and said something like, I think we should do a drug test before the debates. Now, nobody can come out and say, I suspect that Donald Trump is on drugs or whatever. If they say that, it's not going to hit as hard. It's not going to land as hard because Donald Trump already said it. So what is Scott Adams' response going to be to his critics? He's presenting this problem that he thinks his critics are going to lay down for him. Well, Scott, you can use any complicated situation like that. You can find patterns in any situation. So now Scott Adams is going to explain to us what the answer is to this. Why is this situation with Joe Biden and finding all these weird fucking sixes in his name and all these weird little situations, why is this one valid, but any other would be invalid? Let's hear, Scott. Tell me why.
You could pick any complicated situation and you could find all these random patterns in it. It's been proven a million times. And I say, yeah, I agree. I'm not saying that he's possessed by Satan. I'm just saying there are a lot of coincidences.
There you go. Yeah, you're right. He's basically trying to invalidate the argument, bottom line. He's not even providing a counter argument to it. He's saying, I'm not saying Joe Biden is possessed by Satan. Of course you can find these patterns in literally any complicated situation, or any complex situation, I'm sorry.
So there is one candidate, Joe Biden, who has a coincidental association with the number 666 in a variety of ways. He lives underground exactly like Satan, and he talks exactly like Satan, telling you he'll bring you good news, but it's really a trick of language that it's bad news. Is he bringing you the light? Yeah, he is. Your house is going to burn down. You're welcome for all the light.
This is fear-mongering. This is emotional arguments, trying to scare people, trying to make them think, well, I don't want my house to burn down. Is he right? Is he saying that if we elect Joe Biden, then my house is going to burn down? That's completely absurd. He is trying to stoke conspiratorial fears. That's it.
So I'm just putting that out there. As I said, I'm not a believer, so I don't believe in either religion or Satan. I'm just pointing out there's a lot of coincidences going on. That's all.
This dude's a piece of shit. I can't fucking stand to look at his face. Complete piece of shit. It's disgusting that he would do something like that. It is just as disgusting that he'd do something like that as it is when Jehovah's Witnesses use their ends justify the means mentality. When Jehovah's Witnesses lie and cheat and manipulate people for the greater good, as they say. It's disgusting. There was more to that video, actually. He talks about Kamala Harris and her name, Harris, Kamala, each have 6 letters in them. And then he says, and what's she running for? Vice President of the United States. 6 words after that. It's just completely absurd. And he knows that this is absurd. He knows it's absurd. And he's spreading it anyways. It's fucking disgusting.